Ah, Valentine's Day, truly the most romantic of all holidays. That is, unless you're a man of culture such as myself and choose the far superior 2D love over genuine human connection. And what better anime for me to talk about on the most sacred day of the right hand ritual than Gata HK, Yamada's first time. So pull that special body pillow close and cozy up next to the fire as we discuss the tale of a young high school girl whose dream in life is to bang 100 dudes by the end of high school. A more romantic story than which has never been written. Now, I know how this show must sound from that description, and let me assure you that this is not hentai. In fact, the entirety of the show is preoccupied with achieving the first of the supposed 100 times, and it's through this premise that the show becomes a lighthearted romantic comedy with some genuinely sweet moments that truly captures the feeling of awkward adolescent love and lust in a way that most shows I've seen don't tackle, which I think makes this show more than just something to put on in your alone time.
That's good. Just a little bit higher. Lift! What part of lift don't you understand? God, you're a pussy.
My hero! Stop!
Now, to give a more accurate representation of the story of Gata HK, it follows Yamada, a young high school girl with a dirty mind and her trials and tribulations trying to get laid for the very first time, which isn't as easy as it sounds. While Yamada is attractive and the most popular girl at her school, her obsession with sex has her very anxious about her first time, so it can't be with just any guy. She has to pick someone she knows is a virgin. Enter Kosuda, an average-looking guy that would typically never have a shot in hell with Yamada. But today's his lucky day because she's picked him to be the guy who will take her V-card away forever. But he might not seem so lucky, as all of Yamada's attempts to seduce him end up backfiring due to her lack of experience and anxiousness, though that won't be enough to deter Kosuda, who, like most young men his age, can't resist his hormonal tendencies.
Wow, thank you. Can I open it now?
Yeah.
Pierced earrings.
That doesn't go in your ear.
And it's a premise that I find quite humorous, that the most popular girl in school would end up dating a completely average guy, plainly for the fact that she's so obsessed with sex she thinks her being a virgin would be a turnoff for more attractive guys. But as the show goes on and the two get to know each other more, a genuine connection grows between the two, and Yamada's goal changes from just sleeping with Kosuda in order to get her first time out of the way to them forming an actual relationship. But that still doesn't take away the awkwardness when they try to do the nasty.
I want it bad!
Oh, baby, you're so hot.
You're making me hotter, Potter! I'm gonna Potter all over your face!
Yeah, you like that, don't you?
And along the way throughout the show, we're introduced to a whole colorful cast of over-the-top characters, like the series' main antagonist, Kanojo, who is a beautiful, smart, and gifted female student who transferred from America, with her only flaw being her massive brocon for her biological older brother. Aside from that though, she ends up dethroning Yamada's position as most popular girl at school as revenge for Yamada beating her in a beauty pageant the year prior, for which Kanojo has sworn revenge against her, aiming to take everything she holds dear, and the thing she has her sights set on next is Yamada's boyfriend. The only problem is, she doesn't know who it is, since Yamada and Kosuda's relationship is hardly set in stone at this point. But she's not the only one who's trying to throw a wrench in Yamada's plan. Though not actively, Kosuda's childhood friend Miyano has a secret crush on him, one that she's too shy to say outright. And she's a very stereotypical childhood friend. She's cute and wears glasses with huge personalities, and cooks really well. She's clumsy and obviously has a crush on Kosuda, who's too oblivious to notice. Although initially when they were kids, she had a crush on Kosuda's equally oblivious older sister, who she mistook for a boy since she's pretty tomboyish. So now because of that tragic backstory, she has a fear of ever falling in love again. Another great character we get to know throughout the series is Yamada's best friend Takeshita, who is Yamada's rock and the person Yamada often goes to for advice. She's a lot more reasonable than Yamada and has been in a stable relationship for a while, so she's often able to help Yamada through some of her problems, like taking her and Kosuda on a double date with her and her boyfriend, who Kosuda befriends and sees as a role model. Takeshita often plays a straight man to Yamada's wacky sex-crazed antics, giving a funny back and forth when Yamada goes off the rails or does silly things, like the episode where she comes to school without panties on, and we get through Yamada's view the awkwardness that might come from someone actually doing that, regretting it throughout the day. And when Takeshita notices, she reprimands Yamada for doing something so stupid. She also has some large assets that Yamada is personally self-conscious about and very jealous of. Now, the rest of the characters in Yamada's class have funny and wacky moments, but for the most part don't affect the plot much. You have typical stuff like no-name background guys that lust after the girls and give Kosuda a hard time. Misato, who's a very hyperactive and annoying lolly character who bounces off her friend in a very similar way to Yamada and Takeshita. And the last major character to talk about is Kanojo's brother Keiichi, who comes back towards the end of the show and falls in love with Yamada. However, Yamada rejects him despite the fact that he's handsome, charming, popular, and rich, on the grounds that he's probably not a virgin because of those things, and she only wants her first time to be with a virgin. But as it turns out, he is. Even still, by this time, Yamada wants to be with Kosuda instead. So at the end, you have this hilarious, like, love square between Yamada, Kosuda, Kanojo, and Keiichi, where Kanojo wants to steal Kosuda from Yamada to get back at her, even though she's still in love with her brother, and Keiichi, much to the chagrin of his sister, falls in love with Yamada, who's not interested in him because she's in love with Kosuda, and Kosuda is in the middle of everything just trying to get with Yamada. The series ends with Yamada and Kosuda officially being a couple, but still unable to reach their final goal. Not for lack of trying, though.
Do you mind if I ask what you wished for?
What? That's stupid. Come on. Think about it. I asked for the same thing you did. 100 dicks.
And I really love this show and how it subverts the typical shoujo romantic comedy style by making it all about sex and completely driven by the girl to that end. It's not something you see from a lot of series, as well as the fact that the show is much funnier than I can express in this review. I swear the show has me nearly dying every time at the scene when Yamada gets picked up by the army-looking guys while she's trying to track Kosuda down when he goes on a trip with his family. And they act so dramatically, but then you find out they were just playing airsoft the whole time. And that's just to go over one scene from the entire 12 episodes. Though the show's comedic style might not be for everyone, as it kind of relies heavily on cringe or embarrassment humor, although while still being a good character comedy throughout as well. And I think this show is a great time and a very fun watch, whether you have someone to watch it with this Valentine's Day or not. I appreciate you guys for watching, and I hope you had fun watching this video about a forgotten anime from the early 2010s, and I also hope you'll give the show a shot if you haven't yet. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, and I hope you guys have a great Valentine's Day. This has been CJ from Team Millennium Ninja, headed back to the village hidden in the internet.